Good evening, folks, and welcome back to another episode of South the Cheddar Curtain. As always, it's your boy, Devin, sitting across the Microsoft chain screens from the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Lucas himself. You want to start with the folks, Luke?
Hello, folks.
We'll be back again, and another confusing game for our Green Bay Packers. In the word of mega fan of the show, Mr. Thunder Snow himself, my apologies. Ties suck. It's better than a loss, but doesn't really feel like it.
True words have never been spoken, Thunder Snow. I think the only solace I'm going to take in this, because it did suck, and it sucked to find out that your team lost at like 11:30 at night when you got to get up at like 4 o'clock the next day, right? You were at work, so that was tough for you as well. But yeah, you can't go to bed happy. You know, you're still kind of mad, like a loss, but the only solace I'm going to take from it is we probably should have lost that game, right? We should have won, then we should have lost, then we should have won, then we should have lost, then we should have won. Then I think at the end, given the gross clock mismanagement at the end, like we probably should have just lost. We deserve to lose at the end of the day. So to come out of that with a tie, while definitely not the game that we were hoping for, expecting, or predicted, I guess could have been worse, and at least it made all the fans of other teams happy to watch neither one of us win, and it being very entertaining.
When you're talking about deserving to lose, I mean, you pick one of the tropes. One of them by themselves would have been enough to say that we should have lost this game, right? You have the LaFleur clock mismanagement, which, as you said, I was at work, so I missed big chunks of this game. I wasn't going to be like, hey, patient, sorry, Packers are more important. That's not exactly how I roll. Sorry, folks. But rewatching the highlights today, doing my little film study, like, I didn't understand how bad the clock mismanagement was at first. Us getting the ball with 4.5 to go, getting Dontavian Wicks, not Drop-Tavian. Dontavian has returned to the chat. Thank you very much. Dontavian getting us to their 35-yard line with still like 4 to go. And then the next highlight is like the last play of the game with...
We got to the 25 with like 2 to go and a timeout.
Insane.
And we ran out of time.
So you have that. You have the missed kick, which the blocked kick, which this really was like low key, the turning point in this game.
100%.
Because we had them. We were playing like Packer football for the first, quarter and a half of that game. And then after that, it felt like the wheels just completely fall off the bus.
Correct.
You have those two things. And then you have I can't even say the return of the missed tackles from this Packer defense. Because, yes, in years prior, we have seen our boys be on slip and slide before as a unit, as a team. But you're talking about on one play, Xavier McKinney, Edgerrin Cooper, and Evan Williams all missing a tackle. Like, you don't see those people. You don't see one of them miss a tackle on a play, much less 3, much less all of them with multiple missed tackles. So, yeah, we deserve to lose that game multiple times over. It's nice that it wasn't a loss. It's good that it's a tie. But I texted you and James Nick Neiman and JP in our group. Probably what, Luke? Third quarter, fourth quarter? I was like, this is Cleveland all over again. Like we already lost. We already lost.
I think what happened to me at the end of the game, I think made it feel almost even more like a tie than a tie. Like it was a crazy experience. Right, so I have Hulu Live, right? So it's not like over the air TV, it's streaming, right? So it's like 10 seconds behind all the time, whatever it is. So I'm watching, right? Wife had already gone to bed, right? Kids sleeping, all that good stuff. And I'm sitting there watching 11:15, whatever time it was. And I see us struggling to get to the line, call the play, snap the ball for the final play, right? The TV buffers, right? The stream buffers with 4 seconds left with Jordan just standing in the pocket. And that's all there is on my screen for a solid 3 minutes. I'm just sitting there in silence, hoping it comes back so I could see what happened. And it just never did, right? Just Hulu crashed on me. So I had to go to my phone, pulled up ESPN, and saw that we tied. I'm like, I have no idea how, because the image burned on my screen at that point was just Jordan Love just chilling back there without a care in the world with 4 seconds left on the clock. Me thinking, like, it's touchdown or we lose. Like, there's no other option at this point. And I check my phone, all confused, like, what happened? We tied. What? And then, of course, I go back, find highlights, find clips of it or whatever, and see what happened. But I was just sitting there, just distraught, not knowing what happened to our boys for several minutes. And then find out we tied. It was like, well, that was deflating.
That is a pretty cataclysmic event at the worst possible time. George is sitting back there ready to throw. And the fate of, I mean, not a big game, but like, a very emotional game and a very up and down game.
Yeah.
All right. There were scores on the last 8 possessions, which is wild.
Wild game.
So I'm sorry you missed out, but you didn't really miss out on much. I mean, even when we made the field goal, I was like, okay. I'm still not watching sports talk for like the entire week, which
Correct.
other than like some Packer stuff, because, I listen to our fellow Packer media mates, right? It's only respectful to the community. I'll listen to some of their stuff, but
Got to give back.
Other than that, like Sunday night, dude, or Monday Night Football, there are 2 games on. I strategically
Didn't watch halftime.
Yeah, waited till halftime, then decided to go in my room and watch them on HBO, and then have the game up on my phone and be like, all right, I'll still look at you a little bit, but
That's kind of what I did. No highlight shows for me for the rest of the week. And I even scaled back on some of the Packer stuff. Right. Normally I listen to like all of Andy Herman. And I was like, at some point I just can't. Like, I need to distance myself for a day or two. I'll come back when we start looking forward a little bit again. So I'm like, it felt like that tie took something out of you, It was just so disappointing. Some good things came out of it, right? We didn't lose 40-0. Like, there was some positives that came from it, but the return of the whatever that was on defense, and then the consistent special teams issues, are just like, man, I thought we were going to be past this, right? I thought that we were going to be better than that this year. So far, not so good.
there's a song that talks about this, Lucas. Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk to you again. All right, enough singing. That's it for the show.
I thought it was beautiful.
Thank you, sir.
It's going to be a musical episode.
I don't have any wine, unfortunately, or else it would be. We were just talking about that pre-show.
We were. Maybe next time. We got to do something for the bye week.
Hey, we ain't getting out of here, though, because I have a concrete I know.
Okay.
Through 4 weeks, I know who the MVP of this team is. You want to take a guess?
4 weeks MVP of the team. Can you give me is it a player?
It is a player. It is sure as hell ain't Rick Bisaccia. Where are you going there, Lucas?
What
Jeff
side
Hafley,
of the...
hey, Jeff Hafley might have just helped us out.
That's true. DeMarcus Covington, defensive line
DeMarcus
coach.
Covington. He would be worthy, but he's not who I'm thinking of. It's a player. Defense.
Defensive player. Oh man. Defensive player. I'm trying to think of somebody not obvious because it's not going to be like Rashawn Gary, Micah Parsons. Let's go Bullard.
Nope. Lucas, Trey Tell, Lucas. How many points did the Cowboys score?
Oh, yeah. No,
before Devontae Wyatt went out?
Not a lot.
You know what? What's another word? Another way to say not a lot? A big fat 0. 0 points. I mean, if you want to count the 2, but I don't think it was his fault the field goal was blocked, all right?
I don't know. Devontae field goal team?
It was not him. It was Luke Musgrave.
No, it was 100% Luke Musgrave. Just didn't touch him.
Nope. Which, we've talked about. You gotta kind of put a hand on someone there. We'll get back to it. But yeah, Devontae Wyatt, I mean, he balled out when he was playing, and he is not the reason that they put up 40 points, right? Like, I'm not actually going to sit here and just say, okay, it was simply that Devontae Wyatt is out. I'm not that dumb, but like, his ability to create pressure in the interior completely affects pocket lanes, and we saw that like Micah Parsons still had the highest PFF rating for any defensive player this week. And only had 1 sack. Part of that, Dallas is kind of holding.
A little.
Other part of that, though, is that Nazir Stackhouse cannot rush the passer to save his
Not at all.
life. And Dak could step up and wait for people to get into the second windows in our zone coverage and then pick us apart.
Yeah, I think, and we can get into some of this a little bit more a little later, but yeah, with Wyatt going out, right? And clearly he's our most disruptive interior pass rusher, obviously. That leaves our boy Carl, who should not be a full-time starting defensive tackle, right? We love him. We absolutely love him, but best in small doses.
Absolutely. Like, hey, you know what he is? He's Jake Kumaro.
Fair, okay.
There we go.
Kobe Jacked Wooden, right? Who really is just there to be big, not overly disruptive.
Yeah, but he's not as explosive. That's the problem. Like,
Right,
he's a
right,
fine
that's
number
right.
2.
He's
He's
not
been
disruptive.
a surprising good number 2. But then when he's won and it's Carl or Nazir,
Not good. And which is interesting because if anything, I think it really hurt us not bringing up Brinson for the game, because Brinson he's not Wyatt, but he's closer to Wyatt and Brooks than he is Stackhouse and Wooden. He has some more pass rush potential. Like Stackhouse is never going to be a penetrating guy, right? He's going to be a big guy, strong defensive tackle, run, good run stuff, or that kind of thing. Brinson's the one that he showed a little bit of that at Georgia, which is why he got drafted and Stackhouse didn't. He has some get into the backfield juice, right? So not having him elevated really hurt us. And you can't count on defensive tackles getting hurt, right? But I think that really affected us, especially as the game went on, because none of those guys are used to playing that many snaps.
also
well.
true. And it's affected if you have Burnhouse active, but you can't predict that.
Right.
Agreed.
Right. Okay. I think, because some of this does depend on Devontae Wyatt, I think the defense is going to be just fine. Right? I think we're fine, and I think we shouldn't overreact to this for a couple reasons. One, it seems like Devontae Wyatt's going to be fine. I think they said he's week to week, but at least one of those weeks doesn't count because it's the bye week. Better than him going on IR.
And it's not an ACL. I mean, we heard knee, and I
Right.
was like, oh,
Please
get to
don't
the
be anything
lifeboats.
ending in CL.
Yeah.
But I think one of the issues I think we ran into with the Cowboys was Dak got on a heater, right? Just like Jordan did, but Dak can do that. He has that ability. And I think we may have ran into some of the issues that we have caused other teams to have when injured. And what I mean by that is, if you think back several years ago, right, when we had all those injuries to the wide receivers kind of towards the end of the Rodgers era, right? Those were some of our best offensive games when Devontae was out.
That Arizona game.
Arizona game, but that wasn't the only one, but that's the biggest one, right? Because the quarterback and the play caller had to be creative. Now, they kind of just chucked it at Pickens a bunch, which helps because Pickens absolutely went off. But, CeeDee Lamb probably doesn't make a couple of those. And CeeDee Lamb's an absolutely phenomenal player, but his skill set is different than Pickens, right? If you throw a couple of those go balls to CD, he may not come down with them. He doesn't have quite the size, body control in quite the same way, the imposing figure of Pickens, right? So I think we ran into that kind of buzzsaw where the offense had to become more creative. Dak had to spread the ball a little bit more, not hyperfixate on CD, which is great for the fantasy team, and he is definitely a player worth doing that for. But occasionally, I think you can get better output as a team by not doing that, which we've seen firsthand with some of the Rodgers, Devontae stuff when Devontae would go down.
And
So-
our team now.
And the
not a
team
true
now,
number
absolutely.
one. Exactly.
So I think those all kind of go together. And when you add in that this team got absolutely embarrassed the previous week by the Bears, right? They were going to come in hot. And then you add the Micah stuff onto it. The Cowboys don't want to lose to him either, right? Micah wanted to go back and have 10 sacks, right? The Cowboys don't want to lose to Micah Parsons. So you're going to get their absolute best shot. They just got embarrassed by a team that they're supposed to be better than. Got the Micah hype, right? This was the most important game of the year for them. Definitely so far, maybe in its entirety.
Their Super Bowl, for sure.
100%. And we got their best shot. And we did not give them ours, unfortunately. The offense did, for the most part. The defense did not. So I think we kind of ran into a buzzsaw there. And the more that I've thought about that, kind of as the days have progressed, the calmer I've been about the tie, I think. Because this easily, if our offense wasn't so good, right, if Jordan didn't play so well, and we ran into this kind of trouble, this kind of buzzsaw, this could have gotten ugly real quick.
I like a lot of what you said. Just kind of jumping off your buzzsaw idea, thought process. You know, we laugh about Dak and we laugh about the Cowboys. I mean, Dak did not have a good playoff game against us, right? But in 2 interceptions, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But we forget that not too long ago, Dak is like a top 5 quarterback in this league, at least in a regular season.
Right.
Like, he is a numbers lord. And Tony Romo is everything in Dallas. And this man came in and people didn't look back. Right? Like, once Dak was in for a few weeks, there was no questioning his heart, his leadership, and he throws a damn good ball.
100%.
I think that was one of Dak Prescott's best games of his career. He played out of his mind. And the same with George Pickens. I mean, listen, George Pickens had some nice moments in Pittsburgh, obviously. But this was like you juked him out in Madden and you have all these abilities on him and he's just like cheesing. Like, he was automatic. There were a couple third downs where they put him ISO on the left side and they have like trips right. And I texted you guys, I was like, it's going to Pickens. And it did. And he caught it. He got the first down. He made Carrington Valentine audition for an ice skating role.
Oh, my God. I don't know what was going on.
I don't know what was going on there. But, I mean, George Pickens playing out of his goddamn mind. And like you said, there was a lot of emotion, right? We're looking all hot. We just stole your best player for, basically pennies, right? We're still, listen, Mike only had 1 sack for,
0
no
yards.
But the flame for Micah Parsons has not diminished at all. Like, he is still changing this team. He is still completely slam dunk. Yes, that was the right move. But yeah, the Cowboys are up for that game. You had 2 of their best players play out of their mind. We have all sorts of bugaboos. And as I said earlier, a lot of our guys on defense played the worst that we've ever seen. And I know that it's early in the season. I know that, which is why we're taking a lot of things with a grain of salt. And in some games, you see people's potential, right? George Pickens, this game, he went absolutely off. Some games, you see people's potential. Some games, you see people play like shit.
Yeah, that's the way it works.
But with enough of these guys, you have enough data to be like, okay, you know what? That is not really how he plays. This is not going to be what we're going to see in the future, right? Averagely speaking.
Right.
Xavier McKinney. Edgerrin Cooper.
Yeah, they both
Evan
kind of
Williams.
no-showed. All 3 of them, yeah.
All of them no-showed. I do not anticipate that happening week to week. I think Keyshawn Nixon is never not going to go back to the receiver 20 yards away from him when we almost have a sack and we just can't get there. Like, that's not going to happen ever again.
I hope not, yeah.
At least not consistently. I'm sure he got his ass chewed. You want to say you're CB1, you want to say all this shit, well, then don't give us things to say about you, Keyshawn.
Right, you got to at least get back in the field of vision, man. Even if you can't
Don't be
get
walking.
There.
Don't be walking. You're walking. I don't care if you can't make it back. I don't care if you can't get a pass breakup. I don't care if you can't get an interception. That's fine. But we don't walk. That's not how we play football, Keyshawn.
What was the high school rule? It was something like anytime you step over the white line, doesn't matter if it's practice or not, like you run to your destination. You don't get to walk, right?
Have you not seen the Bills Super Bowl? Does Don Beebe mean nothing to you? He wore green and gold too, bro.
He did. He did.
Respect it.
The legend.
Respect it. Absolutely.
The legend Don and the slightly less legend Chad. But yeah.
Wait, Chad Bueller? Which Chad are we talking about?
Okay, calm down.
Wait, you guys don't know about Luke's alter ego when he golfs? Chad Mueller making an appearance on the show for the first time. I mean, it's bye week in Dallas week, bro. We got to bring it up.
I'm good. I appreciate that, though. I appreciate that. I do want to say one thing to go back on George Pickens. He is insanely talented, right? Top 5 at least most gifted wide receivers in the NFL. He's just an idiot.
Yeah, fair. Fair. Totally fair.
Frequently in Pittsburgh, coached by Mike Tomlin, of all people, right? He would just be like fighting the cornerback downfield instead of looking for the ball thrown at him. Like just straight up trying to like punch the dude out the back of the end zone.
He does some thug shit for sure.
100%. It's like, dude, what are you doing? The play is happening. And you and the cornerback are just like out the back of the end zone throwing haymakers. Like, what is going on?
Anger management, my friend, George. Go find yourself a nice doctor. Maybe you have. Maybe that's why, you didn't murder Keyshawn Nixon. I don't know. Well, you did in different ways.
You did in one way,
More so CV and Nate Hobbs. Oof.
Nate Hobbs looked rough. Anyways, let's move on from I Think I Know so we can get into that.
All right, this isn't I Think I Know. I'm just going to throw something hot at you.
I'm ready.
And this isn't, please try to hear me out here. This isn't like a Devin Matt Flynn point, but like in the fourth quarter, especially Hobbs is out, but he was getting cooked. CV not doing shit. Nixon had a pass breakup, before Devontae Wyatt went out, and our team just forgot how to play football, right? Why don't you throw him out there? Why don't you put Bo Melton out there and see what he can do? I mean, why not, bro? I just saw his brother. I watched that Cardinals. Who do they play? Seattle, right?
Yeah, Cardinals, Seattle.
Max Melton is a problem. Mm-hmm. And he plays just like his brother. Now, we haven't seen his brother play that much corner, but like the way he played receiver, dude, completely fearless. I brought it up jokingly, when we played Philly in the playoff game and all the receivers are hurt and we're chucking it down to Bo Melton, but they were playing off. They were respecting Bo Melton because Bo's just a little dude.
He's got that dog in him.
Bo's an underdog. But exactly, you can't be an underdog if you don't have that dog in you, folks. Bo Melton's going to give you 110%. I guarantee you. Bo Melton does not walk towards Jalen Tolbert in the fourth quarter. I promise you that.
Honestly, I think you may be giving Keyshawn too much credit. I don't know if he ever actually moved out of the end zone. He may have just stood there and watched. Rough look. Well, we're talking about how bad the defense was. Let's just do that, and then let's get all the bad out of the way, and then we'll end on offense. How's that sound?
Fair, but I want your feedback on if I'm being crazy, Devin, or is that like not an outworldly thought that we should give him a shot because he is such a dog. I'm not saying he's going to be Darrelle Revis over there, but see what he can do. I'm not saying CB2. I'm saying on 3rd and 14, get him in there.
I don't know. Part of it just because Valentine had been playing well before this game, so I get just rolling with him. Bullard in the slot we like a lot, so I don't know about that without an actual more of an injury situation. I just don't think he's going to be out there.
And to be clear, I'm not saying you give him all the snaps. I'm not saying make him CB3, but give him 4 or 5, see what he can do. But I hear you. I'm probably prisoner to watching Carrington Valentine slide by.
I don't know what our guy was doing. He played really well the last couple weeks, and this was garbage.
It's like the Dallas Goedert play. Like, CV, I really believe in you, and I don't need to see that. I just don't.
I'm with you.
All right, the bad. Defensively. Okay, so missed tackles.
All of it.
For sure.
Defensive line did not get pressure.
Well, the
which
one
I think
play
surprised us.
The one play that just broke my heart, because I was feeling, we need to get pressure, and I think was on the final drive. The Keyshawn play that we brought up 4 times this game for how much of a horrendous event that was for us to witness in the Super Bowl season, what a valley. What a valley, folks. On that play, right, Micah was kind of in and out from what I saw. And I was like, Nessie, bro, you have been doing shit this season. Like, it is time, Nessie. Forget Micah. Like, let's see what you can do. And he gets a good rush. Mm-hmm. And he just couldn't quite get to the deck, but he flushes him, and then that was what happened. But yeah, the pass rush, nothing. Besides Micah, did we have a sack?
Just Micah.
Just Micah. And that was for a loss of zero yards, folks. That's an incomplete pass.
Micah
had a crappy run.
Right. Micah had 2 quarterback hits. Kobe Wooden had 1. I think we had like one other one.
I think the Colby Wooden one was on that play.
Carl had one as well.
One of them, like, speared Dak. It was a good hit.
Yeah. We crushed Dak at least that one time. I will give a little bit of a shout out to Kingsley and Akbare. He had a couple nice plays in the run game.
He did.
Mm-hmm. He had a really nice move in the pass game too. I just don't think he ever got even remotely close to Dak. But he had a quick win off the edge with like a dip move, which I didn't necessarily think he had. Like, he has a lot of moves, but in order to dip and bend like that, you have to be a better athlete than I thought he was, and especially post injury. But he did have one cool play where he just straight tossed the tight end. I don't know if you've seen the clip of it, but it's a run play kind of up the middle. He's lined up over the kind of between the tight end and tackle. Tight end kind of steps down to try to take him, and he just straight grabs him on the shoulder pads and just chucks him out the club, like just yeets him out the way, and then goes in and lays a big hit on Javonte. It's like a 2-yard run, so like no one's really paying attention. Kingsley was one of like 2 or 3 Packers that met him there, but nice play, nice moves. Also did not expect Kingsley to just be chucking tight ends out of the way, right? Nice shot, man. He came to play a little bit. Obviously, we just didn't get anywhere near as much pressure as we wanted to, but a little shout out to him for at least having some nice moments in the otherwise very depressing pass rush.
With Enigbari, totally agree. Don't really expect him to have a whole lot of moves in that toolkit. However, if this was hockey, Enigbari would be a goon for sure, and I'm happy he's on our team, man.
100%, yeah.
The fact that you were like, you were surprised that he threw a tight end. Honestly, I'm kind of not. He's kind of a bully out there, a little bit of an enforcer. Obviously, we can have better pass rushers, but for a dude who's 3-4 in the rotation, like, I've always been happy to have him for the 4 or 5 years we've had him.
Yeah, no, he's been good.
And he was, if you remember the history of our show,
he was you called him, right?
It wasn't just that I called him. Well, toot the own horn here. And a milestone for the show. He was the first one we ever predicted.
The first one, yeah.
Kingsley Enigbari, thanks for sticking around.
That's a good point.
Other things defensively, just, okay, I guess you wanted to go to bad first, but I was just going to pop in my head.
I just said bad because the defense is bad, but obviously good things happen on defense.
Well, defense is bad, but as we were talking about, the first quarter and a half, we still looked like ourselves.
It was a shutout until the blocked extra point.
We were coming up to tackle. Javon Bullard and Quay Walker had a nice flush out. Like, it was a nice little, it was a dump in the flat or a jet bubble, I forget. But similar motion, similar action. And Quay tracks him down and Bullard meets him there too. Beautiful play.
Quay had a couple really nice plays early where they were clearly trying to run away, and Quay just didn't let them, right, to get to the outside. And Quay was like, nope, you're going to get 1.5 yards and be happy about it. It's really flashed a lot of that athleticism. It kind of actually was in my head a couple times with him because we know he's a crazy athlete, right? Just maybe half a step below Cooper. But the first thing that popped in my head with a couple of those plays were like, ooh, that's kind of what Cooper does, right? That's kind of what Edge does. I'm more accustomed to Cooper doing that at this point than Quay, just because Quay has historically had a little bit of a problem triggering that fast. He's athletic enough to do it, but he doesn't necessarily process and react as quickly as Cooper would. So some of those immediate run to the sideline, drop the ball carrier for a yard type things, he hasn't, even when he's been playing well, he doesn't do that quite as much.
I think that when we think about Quay and Cooper, Quay's image in our minds is kind of victimized just by the personal foul penalties that he's had and some slower reaction early on, but he's only been building since his rookie year. And at this point, I have as much peace of mind when they are targeted or when their side of the field is run to for Cooper and Quay, like pretty equal, honestly.
Yeah.
I view them as equals. I think that when we think about them as a whole, you think of Cooper as better because he's younger and we haven't seen like the depths of some of Quay Walker's shitty plays, but Quay is definitely an above average starting linebacker, and I think that we are very lucky to have both of them paired.
Completely agree. I think sometimes it can be Quay just maybe doesn't bring quite as much flash as Cooper does.
Fair.
There's less plays where you're just like, oh, damn, how'd he get there? He has that ability, clearly, but we saw a lot of that out of Cooper last year and at the beginning of this year, and Quay just a little bit less, so it's nice to see that. Because you're right, we have two of them, right, that are absolutely insane on the inside.
Well, we might have 2.5. Unfortunately, we didn't see a whole lot of Tyron Hopper this week, but right after we got off last week, folks, I got to go back to Cleveland for a hot moment. We're talking defense. We cannot forget that third-round pick out of the 2024 NFL draft,
Yeah.
Tyron Hopper, third-round linebacker out of Mizzou, had his first pass breakup in the NFL career. It was lockdown coverage on a Browns backup offensive tackle, but it still counts. Thank you
100%
for
still
my TED
counts.
talk.
Yeah, in the secondary in this game, just not great, man. Hobbs looked bad. I know he's coming back from injury, so like, is he all the way back? Is he? I don't know.
Well, he's hurt again now. We haven't heard anything, but he left
That's
that
true.
game and didn't come back.
That's true. So, but he looked bad even before that, right? CV looked bad. I think Keyshawn looked okay besides the dumb play.
He did have a pass breakup.
He had two.
When we were still playing defense. Two.
He had
Thank
two
you.
total. Evan Williams didn't. Yeah,
Bad.
Not good.
Bad.
I thought Bullard did Bullard stuff. He had a couple nice plays near the line of scrimmage. Kind of got in on a screen, kind of blew it up a little bit, like that kind of thing. Bullard did Bullard things, right? I didn't really necessarily see him do anything outrageously bad like most of the rest of the defense.
We had Hobbs get mossed by Pickens on one, and Evan Williams was there. It was like a cover two man, and Williams is right there too. So it's kind of shitty on both of them. CV got spun out by Pickens. I'm trying to think of other like bad things of note. I guess the missed tackles. We've probably gone over it by now.
Yeah,
But if anything else stood in your mind,
not really as far as the defense goes. Would be kind of remiss without bringing up some of the. I mean, there was a lot of holding, right? And I get not every holding penalty is going to be called. It shouldn't be called because the game would never end. We'd still be playing at this point. But like, come on, some of those. I mean, Micah's getting strangled. You don't want to be that guy, right? We don't want to be those people. Well, that's all we talk about every single week is like how our premier pass rusher just gets held every play. But like, guys, come on. Like, we could have gotten one or two of those. Would have been nice.
well, and it's a part of the game. And if we're being cheated of an investment, like that's dog shit. And no, we should say it. It's a part of the game. It's part of the game. You only have so much money. We are putting forth so much money in Micah Parsons. He is such a part of this defense, such a part of this team. And PFF isn't perfect, but I don't think that, there's two big stats there, right? With Micah being the top rated defensive player, him having 1 sack, few chokeholds. I mean, it's noteworthy. It's important to point it out. Hopefully the refs that we play, next week aren't paid by the opponent.
Okay, since we're going to talk about refs, what bothered me the most?
I know you had to. You had to. I was going to bring it up by myself if you didn't. I got you.
Intentional grounding. What are we doing?
So Lucas, for the folks at home, why don't you talk about intentional grounding?
Okay, so intentional grounding. Thank you for the pass there, Devin. Intentional grounding is when the quarterback throws while in the pocket, right? While still within the tackle lines. So if you draw lines off the edges of both offensive tackles, right, that's your tackle box. While the quarterback is in that box, he has to throw it at somebody, right? The ball has to go near an offensive player if it leaves his hand.
An eligible target, yes,
Correct.
sir. Beyond the line of scrimmage.
Beyond the line of scrimmage. It can be over his head out of bounds. That's fine, right? It can be 5-10 yards away. If you have a running back or something trying to help block, right? It can be just at the dude's feet. Doesn't matter. They very rarely ever actually call intentional grounding. Give you a lot of leeway. However, Dak decided to throw a swing pass to absolutely nobody. Nobody within like 15 yards of this pass. Dude just lollipops it over there to the left side of the field.
And at first, weren't we worried it was a fumble?
Yes.
Like, wasn't there
so it was
some
like
contention there? 'Cause
how was it? How like there's nobody there? Did the ball slip out? Did he get hit? Like what's going on here? That they didn't throw a flag? No, they just decided not to throw a flag when it was the most obvious intentional grounding I've seen in quite some time that didn't get called. Carson Wentz got called for like the exact same play in the morning game against the Steelers. So seeing that, followed by that night, Dak doing that in a critical situation, right? Because intentional grounding is not just loss of yards, right, Devin? It's also loss of down. So it goes from 1st and 10 to like 2nd and 26 late in the fourth quarter. That would have been important, right? Kind of a big deal. They scored that drive. It's harder to score when it's 2nd and 26 than it is when it's 1st and 10. So, absolutely ludicrous. That play, like, I've gotten over a lot of, being too concerned about the refs and stuff over time. As I've gotten older, it bothers me less. But, like, stuff like that, it's like, guys, this is one of those times where you have to throw that flag. There's absolutely no excuse for it.
And if we sitting at home can see it, like, we're not paid and trained to do this.
Correct.
We actually pay to do this. So
We
get
do.
it together, please, folks. Offense, we go.
Yeah. Well, no, we're doing bad for special teams.
Luke Musgrave, you are no longer part of the kick team. I think you were replaced by Mr. Kennard, which is, a little risky now that Kennard's our starting right tackle. We'll see about when we get Belton back, right? But at some point,
Or Tom.
We kind of got to, take field goals and not allow momentum shifting plays. Uncle Mo, told you, man, he showed up in that game.
He did. And what was crazy is if you go back and watch our first extra point, the same damn thing almost happens. Like a guy comes free from the exact same hole.
Which is the same thing we said in Cleveland.
Correct.
Rick Bisaccio, what are you doing? Are you eating biscottis or whatever? I can't say what they are. Biscottis, the little Italian cookie, is that what they call it? Like a little short cookie?
Yeah, biscottis, cannolis, just every other Italian food we can think of.
It's perfect that that's your name because what you put on the field is so damn crummy, just like those cookies. I don't know what they are. Like, I don't know what their name is, but like, you can imagine them. Like they're crumbly.
I thought you were going to start talking about focaccia bread, because there's like big air pockets. There's big holes in it.
It's way too cultured for me, but I'm really happy you brought it into the show.
Oh. So, yeah, I think the way other people put it was like, they sent a warning shot. You should have seen that they almost blocked your first extra point on the sideline, correct the issue so it doesn't happen again. But no, we didn't, and it happened again.
So we have that.
That wasn't the end of it, unfortunately.
If where my brain goes next is we're up by 4. We're like a minute 20 to go, and we're kicking the ball off to Dallas, and I had a return of my emotional investment, right? I always try to put it down. We've already lost. It's fine. Nope. Because you know what I love the most in football, Lucas? Interceptions. Mm-hmm. I thought, oh boy, either an interception or Micah Parsons can just put a cherry on top. He can have the sack of Dak to seal it, strip fumble, whatever. But we know they have to throw. There's a minute 30 left. And, of course, we allow a kickoff to basically midfield.
And, look, I get Turpin is a very good kick returner. But we also know that, right? It's not like, oh, my God, this random schmuck back there returned to 50 yards. It's like, no, this is one of the better returners in the NFL. So we got to do something different in that case, right?
Kick it deep. Give it to the 35. It would have been a better play by 15 yards.
100%. 100%. And then on the opposite side, right? Their kicker is the best kicker in the NFL. Obviously.
Yeah.
But they kept pinning us at the 20. Because with the new rules, if the ball hits within the landing zone, so the 20-yard line and in, and it's a touchback, so if the ball bounces and you catch it in the end zone and kneel, you get the ball at the 20, not the 30 or whatever. 35. We just kept letting that happen. We never adjusted. We never brought our returners, Bo Melton and Savion Williams, up to just catch the football at the 5-10-yard line. We just kept letting them bounce. Savion would take it in the end zone, and then we'd lose 15 yards of field position just over and over and over and over. And in these situations where we get the ball back and we have to deal with clock, like the end, right, of the fourth quarter, would have been nice to have an extra 15 yards, right? But we're just giving them away because we're not making any adjustments with how we're handling kick returns. There's film on this. There's people studying how to do this, right? Because there's a couple kickers in the NFL. Aubrey does a nice job. There's a couple other ones that they're essentially kicking knuckleballs that land at like the 5-10 yard line because they know you're not going to come up and catch it. It's going to bounce, go into the end zone. You kneel, you lose yards, right? There's film on this. There's nothing else going on in the kickoff team, right? The kickoff and kick return team. This is the new rule. This is the emphasis. This is what you're watching film on. The fact that we had no game plan for this, right? Not only did we not adjust, we came in and did nothing to try to circumvent this, to try to get that field position back or at least give ourselves an opportunity at a return. We just let it happen and lost 15 yards every kickoff for no reason. Crazy.
The question presents itself in front of us yet again. What does Rick Bisaccia do? As you said, he didn't prepare for their kicker's magical foot and his ability to kick the knuckleball, which, hey, you said Aubrey's one of the best in the NFL.
Yeah.
That's why, because he's that damn good, right?
He is.
But you don't prepare during the week for it. For that type of kick? Well, obviously, because you were preparing for protection so much. Oh. But he's really good at adjusting because remember.
No, I don't think so.
No, not really. Thankfully, Kennard sealed that edge, that kind of gap there at the end for the final two kicks. But yeah, man, I don't know what the hell Rick Bisaccia is doing. I know that everybody in Packer Nation wants him fired, and as we've said, it's just not going to happen. I think last week you said we needed like 5 more performances, so we're down to 4.
Yeah, something like that.
It still would be hard to imagine. But, I mean, at this point, bro, 2 games that are completely altered by block kicks. If we don't have block kicks,
we're 4-0.
We're 4-0.
Mm-hmm.
And you think about, like, this can't be. I mean, yeah, it sucks, but we got to figure it out. It was the 2007 San Diego Chargers. 7, 08, 09, whatever.
Yep.
But had the number 1 rated offense in the NFL and the number 1 rated defense in the NFL. Lucas, how'd they do in the playoffs?
They didn't make the playoffs.
Didn't make the playoffs. Why is that? Oh, because Rick Bisaccia must have been their special teams assistant. Because their special teams was so bad that with Phillip Rivers and LT and those teams that were just
Junior
beyond
Seau.
sight. Probably late Rodney Harrison, Quentin Jammer, Luis Castillo, all those boys. Squad. The special teams was that bad. But you know what? It's not like, if they would have made the playoffs, it's not like teams losing the playoffs because of special teams.
We do it all the time.
Yeah, we do it all the time. So let's hope they figure it out. I mean, we try to explain what's happening, folks, and try to tell you what to look for. And there is no explaining why the special teams don't get better. And as we've said before, and we're proved to be prophets, if they don't figure it out, it will come back to bite us. Let's just hope that people actually do what they're paid to do.
Yeah, I think the most disappointing thing about this for me is that, look, there are some times where field goals get blocked, and there's been a lot this year, right? Like a crazy amount. But sometimes it's just a great play. Like you'll get some of those guys that just completely leapfrog the offensive lineman and crazy athletic play, and there's not much you can do about it, right?
Carl Brooks.
Your offensive lineman gets steamrolled right into the back, and guy puts his big mid up, blocks or whatever. we're just letting people just go freely, right? We're not even putting up any resistance for blocking the kick. That's just not caring, schematic like that. That's not just the defense making a good play, which is what makes it so frustrating for me. So they got a week to figure it out. So here's hoping. And if they don't, we play the Bengals after that. And do you remember Evan McPherson's first season as a kicker for the Bengals? Do you remember what happened?
I try not to.
It was October of 2020, if I remember correctly. And that was the game where Evan McPherson and Mason Crosby combined for about 27 missed field goals.
Yeah, it was a pissing match of missed field goals, and it was absolutely terrible.
It was. We won that game, but let's try to avoid special teams kerfuffle like that again.
Yeah. One might call it a snafu.
That's a good way to put it.
All right.
Let's talk about something that had some positives, shall we?
Let's talk about in a fourth down at the end of the game, when the game is on the line and you need it. Who does Jordan Love trust to throw that ball to, Lucas?
Man, 4th and 6 across the middle, right? Got to have a situation. If you don't catch this, the game is over. Matthew Golden.
It was the Matthew Golden breakup party, my boy. He had that one that he stole from Dontavian Wicks, 5 catches, 58 yards.
That was hilarious, by the way.
I mean, you say those numbers isn't the biggest on the stat sheet, but every time the ball went his way, he showed up, and he was
except for the punt
clutch.
return, but yeah.
Okay, it wasn't his fault that he hit B early to spin, all right? He got his timing a little bit off. Maybe his cat stepped on the controller, bro. I don't know, but yeah, he got killed. Golden, beautiful day. Just good day for the rookie receivers as a whole. Savion Williams took like a weird designed screen kind of play on 3rd and 18 for 16. Nearly got it, but he looked explosive.
Yeah, he looked good.
Dontavian Wicks, still being Dontavian Wicks. 2 catches, 19 yards, but caught the ball. Should have had a PI on him late.
Yeah.
Horrible no call. Another, not trying to make excuses for penalties, but you can't cheat. You can't cheat. There are rules. You need to follow them, or else what happens if someone doesn't follow rules? They have an unfair advantage. Cheating.
If we're talking about pass catchers, Tucker Kraft should have had 2 touchdowns. Got caught short by about a foot combined on 2 separate occasions, which did not help my fantasy team, but shout out Tucker for another nice game.
Good route running, good physicality at the point of attack, little shiftiness, little power. What can't Tucker Kraft do?
Phenomenal question. And then we got to leave the bobblehead for last, right? Where art thou? Oh. The end zone is the answer. The end zone is where Romeo is.
Thunder Snow said the same thing, and I'm going to ask all of our internet sleuths that listen to our show. Thank you for being here. What did Dallas do to Romeo? Because he has the best games of his career. Best game number 1, best game number 2. This in the playoff game, yeah. He absolutely murders them.
He does.
Murders. I don't know if he had family that was, had land stolen from them from a bunch of Cowboys. Maybe the Dobbs come from out west and there was some bullshit that went on. I don't know. But when he is in Dallas, it is not Jerry's world. It is Romeo's world. The man was on a heater. Not 1, not 2, but 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Sir.
And I think the coolest part of those, and they touched on it in the broadcast, I think he may just have 2-way goes at the goal line at this point.
Let him cook.
Because at least one of those, if not both, were two of the 3 were RPOs. And I think he just gets to make up the route. I think that's kind of what it looks like. He just gets to decide if he's going to run a fade or a slant, just based on what the cornerback's doing. And him and Jordan have such a good connection that they can pull some of that Aaron Devontae stuff, right? We're seeing a light version of that, but that's kind of what we're seeing, right? Where those two they get to the goal line. It's like, okay, well, we know what we're going to do. We're going to score a touchdown right here. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Well, of course, Love and Romeo have a dynamic connection. What else did you expect, bro? Magic is in the air, my boy. You cannot deny their chemistry. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Fair enough. It sucks that we wasted a 3-touchdown performance from Romeo, with the last one coming with a minute 40 left in the game. Right? Crazy.
But doesn't suck for Romeo Dobbs because reports are that we are looking to extend him.
I don't know where all this money's coming from, but cool.
Yeah. I don't know if that means that Jaden Reed might be in some trouble. Maybe that doesn't look good for Dontavian Wicks. I mean, so far through 4 games, no receiver has played bad. We've talked about that we kind of thought things would figure themselves out. Even Malik Heath had a catch on 3rd down in the 4th quarter to keep a drive going. In a key situation, Malik Heath was out there in a primary read. Phenomenal.
I'd love to see it, but yeah, none of them have been bad, right? Reed got hurt, but he's playing well before that.
Does he potentially lose his job to injury? I mean, it can happen.
Does he get Wally pipped? Good question. Romeo's been playing well. Dontavian's back to Dontavian. Malik Heath shows up randomly once a game.
Catches the ball. That's all we can ask.
That's
great. The preseason you couldn't, but now it matters.
Right. Golden's slowly coming along. I mean, each week he's a bigger and bigger part of the offense, it looks like, and trusted in bigger situations. And look, Christian Watson's coming back. We don't know when. They talked about him a little bit in the press conference today, and it wasn't exactly the news I expected, but he'll be back probably within a month, if not sooner.
Yep.
So who are you taking off the field, man? We're back. We may be getting back to having an embarrassment of riches. We may be getting back to having a bunch of wide receiver 2s. We said that last year, and then we ended up with a bunch of wide receiver 4s because none of them could catch the football. But
true,
we may be getting back there.
You speak of embarrassment of riches, and I got one to bring up to you, sir. As the man, the myth, the legend, Lucas Mueller once said, number 23, Emmanuel Wilson, hits different. And to that I say, Marshawn Lloyd who? Emmanuel Wilson with some pop on some 4th quarter carries.
He looked
the
good.
man has been looking good all season. I'm going to say a top-tier RB2. I'll say it. 8 rushes, 44 yards, 5.5 per carry compared to Josh Jacobs' 3.9, which is still a much better day from him than what we've seen. This was by far the best day on the ground for the Packers.
Yeah.
86 for Jacobs, 44 for Wilson.
And another 37 receiving yards.
And 37 receiving. But just let me finish the rushing stat so we can get some palpable sweats coming down your forehead. Give Mr. Jordan Love. 3 rushes, 28 yards for long of 25. No, I said 35. It's only 10 yards short. We're only 4 weeks into the season.
We're getting there.
We're getting close. We don't have all the horses in the stable yet. You get Christian Watson back. People really watching him. Running game gets going better. Little read option. Feeling good about my bet. I'm feeling good.
I was a little worried, I'm not gonna lie, when I saw him tuck and run and pull that. I was like, oh, there's a lot of open field out there.
It's sad to me that such a glorious play will make you anxious. I won't rub it in your face too much. Let's not diminish.
A 70-yard touchdown, I'm gonna be ecstatic, but I just don't want it to be 36 yards. I'd rather it be 34 or a 70-yard touchdown.
Yeah, I would just be really upset if the quarterback of the team that I love, that I have a podcast about, if he had a 36-yard run, I would just, be so upset. Come on, bro.
Well,
put it aside.
How about this? Well, once he does it once, then I'm just going to root for him to do it every game.
That was good.
Because then I already lost, so it doesn't matter.
I like your vernacular choices there, my boy. Well done.
Thank you. But yeah, so we finally started getting going on the ground. It was slow to start. Really, really kind of took advantage in the second half a little bit. Got things going a little bit. Jacobs looked better. Emmanuel Wilson looked great, I thought. He's got the little bit of braids, dreads kind of coming out the back. Number 23, he's a new man this year. He's a new man.
Absolutely.
Running hard, physical, fast. Dude's looking great. Running game looking much better. We got Golden and Savion 1 carry each. They're going to keep getting a carry or 2 a game. Fine, whatever. Probably prefer to get more Savion, less Golden at this point.
True.
Because Golden keeps finding ways to get lit up, but whatever.
May I jump in for a moment?
Yes.
think this counts as the running game. But we had what appeared to me like a go-go version of the speed option where we had Love going left, like towards the top of the screen. And then Josh Jacobs and like Emmanuel Wilson or Tucker Kraft, I couldn't see who it was. And Love swings it, but it looks almost like a speed option, didn't it?
Mm-hmm. It did.
And then he swung it out to Jacobs, catches it, tiptoes 25 yards down the sideline. I mean, the play looked cooked. Beautiful read.
Phenomenal play.
It was Kraft or Wilson, but one of them was a hell of a lead blocker.
I think Kraft.
Still can't believe that play worked. Phenomenal.
Well, yeah, and I don't think that was the play. That was not the play. I think that's just one of those plays where we have that swing with the lead blocker kind of tacked on to the end of it. And then Jordan decided to run and then realized, oh my God, he's wide open. Let him run, not me. Which, phenomenal decision, great throw, because that's an awkward place and angle to do that.
And a late decision, too. Not like his fault, but like I think you're probably right that it wasn't the design. It was just a late, like, last read.
Correct. Well, it was either that or he's running, right? And I think he made the right decision. So,
there weren't 35 yards to the end zone, so.
Fair. That's a fair point. But really nice day from Jordan overall. I mean, he played really, really, really well. Obviously, he had that fumble forced on him. I blame that more on... he had a really deep drop, so some of it's probably on him. Because it seemed like he went too deep that he got out of the pocket by going straight backwards, if that makes sense. Right? Because the tackles are taught at some point to just push the guys around the edge, right? Push them past where the quarterback's going to be, because then the quarterback's safe. Well, if the quarterback keeps backing up, and Jordan will do this sometimes, quarterback keeps backing up, he's exactly where the defensive ends get pushed to at some point, right? Kind of felt like that sort of thing happened. I don't know why we were being that aggressive in that situation. That part's probably on LaFleur as well. He kind of admitted that was a bad decision in his press conference today. But besides that singular play, I thought Jordan looked like what we hope for him to be every week. I mean, he looked like a really, really good quarterback. That was an absolute duel between him and Dak Prescott. Unfortunately, it was a draw, but what good play. You know, he had some really nice balls, made some good decisions, kept the ball out of harm's way. Just really nice day from Jordan.
Even with the fumble, one of the best games of his career.
Yeah, I'd agree.
One of the articles or other podcast titles I saw was Jordan Love near legacy game ruined by the defense, which I think is fair. I mean, precise, accurate, quick with his timing, good with his feet, all the things you want to see from Jordan. There's only one real miss that I saw.
Yeah.
Like pretty much the whole game. Very happy with his performance. But I think that leads us into...
Hold on.
Oh.
Actually, one more thing about Jordan.
Oh, yeah, hit it.
I think something that gets lost in a game like this, because there were so many tense situations coming down to the end of the game. Twice, right? The end of the fourth quarter and then into overtime. Is that Jordan had to be perfect, essentially, for like 5 drives in a row. Right.
Yeah, when your defense ceases to exist, the pressure is on. He knew he needed to score.
I mean, think about it for a second. Like I said earlier, Romeo scored what should have been the game-winning touchdown with a minute 42 left. Right? And then we just that was already clutch, right? That was already a great drive orchestrated by Jordan. If the game ends, right, if the Cowboys go 3 and out, we're talking about, man, Jordan led the team down, got the game-winning touchdown with under 2 minutes. That's a game-winning drive. That goes another tally in his spreadsheet, right? Phenomenal. But no, we let the Cowboys score again. So what does Jordan do with 40 seconds left? Gets us right back into field goal range, right? What does Jordan do in overtime? Marches us right down the field, gets us in good position before we completely piss away the clock somehow.
Does that count as 3 game-winning or game-tying drives in one game?
Exactly, right?
It should.
It should. It probably doesn't, but like he had to be perfect, and he came up clutch, like you said, 3 times. He did what he had to do 3 times in a row without fault. That's what you want to see. That's what you got to see out of the guy, right? And something that we've seen with Jordan before, especially when he was younger, is getting a little sloppy when it comes down to it, right? Maybe not being the clutchest player. Well, that certainly was not the case on Sunday. Dude had ice in his veins, came up when we needed him big time.
Like Rodgers, automatic, baby.
Love it.
I've said it before, man. Love wins. Well, unless
And
you have
ties.
Versace as your special teams coordinator, sometimes just ties. But yeah, man, he's a winner. He's a baller. It's nice that we have this special opportunity to have felt this way about two different quarterbacks in our lifetime. You know, and that it was so quick after Rodgers, just to have that peace of mind, like he's going to go get it done. You trust that man in the ball with his hands late. Well, we trust him with the ball in his hands late, Lucas, but maybe somebody else doesn't.
Kind of seems that way.
Walk us through it. Pull the Band-Aid. Grab a drink, everybody.
I don't even want to talk about it. So, Matt LaFleur, right? Overall, I called a good game, right? I think there's a couple instances of being overly aggressive to try to end the first half, but also being under-aggressive and not going for a fourth down early in the game. He at times has some time management issues, right? None bigger than the end of this game, which all could have been averted if he would have just given Jordan the damn ball and let him go play. So like we talked about earlier, we were on like the 25-yard line with 2 minutes left. Somehow, from that position, with the timeout.
In overtime.
To be clear,
down by 3.
Matt LaFleur decides to play for the tie and waste all of the clock. I have no idea why, right? Because at that point, with the new overtime rules, we kick a field goal, we tie, or we give them back the ball, right? Depending on how much time's left. If we score a touchdown, it's over. The game is done. We win. We go home, get out of this nightmare, 3-1, feeling good about life. Hey, we got out of there. Offense looked good. Let's burn the tape on defense. Move on. Get healthy during the bye. But instead, LaFleur just doesn't trust Jordan to get it done. I don't really understand, right? I don't know why he got so conservative and decided to just play for the tie instead of letting the quarterback, who had got it done all damn day long at this point, right? Just repeatedly over and over and over, got us where we needed to be. Just let him loose. You got plenty of time. You can do whatever you want. The whole playbook is open, right? Go get Romeo his 4th touchdown. They clearly can't stop it. We called like a little screen. Like we got way too cute and attempted everything within like 5-10 yards of the line of scrimmage and never once took a shot to the end zone until the final play, when the one time we shouldn't have taken a shot to the end zone. Makes no sense. And at some point, you just have to have the confidence in your quarterback, who has proven previously and that night that he can get it done for you. And if Jordan is who we hope he is, right? If he is who Matt seems to think he is, you give him the ball and you let him go score and win the game. And if he doesn't, well, he doesn't. But you give the guy the chance.
This isn't the first time that we've seen LaFleur be gun shy.
No.
In a key game situation, right? I mean, Tampa Bay, NFC title game, that was one of the all-time bluffs. It's little shades of McCarthy, which I don't like to see. You know, this would be understandable if this was Cleveland.
Yeah.
More understandable, at least, if this situation happened against Cleveland. But we have been going up and down Dallas all damn day. Everybody was getting open. The running game was starting to work. We didn't need to get cute. Just drop what we have been doing. And the shitty thing about this is that he had called some wonderful plays in this game. I watched some film breakdown, and he really did a good job of creating space with movement and route alignment and knowing how to get favorable matchups by putting people in motion. Like he had some LeFleur-like plays. But again, in the last possession of the game, when it comes down to it, he gets a little bit in his head. And I think that there should be, you know how Sean McVay is that dude that like make sure that he doesn't run out in the field. He like pulls him back. It's a funny video.
Yep.
I think there needs to be somebody around Matt LaFleur that when it gets to crunch time, you give him a shot of whiskey and just hope that it helps.
It couldn't hurt.
Not crazy. Just a little, have a little more faith in your boys. Don't be so scared, especially when they've put scoring drives in the last 5 drives.
That was like 5, 6 in a row, whatever it was.
When you got in field goal range with like 26 seconds, us getting the ball with 4 minutes and then having a shot play again, I think it was Dontavian Wicks. The amount of time we had to, it seems like no time had elapsed. In a minute and a half, like nothing happened.
Yeah, we ran like a screenplay or something.
At all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Disappointing doesn't cut it. So we leave this game. Another huge game for Jordan Love.
Yeah.
Nice to see, I would say, good days for all of the receivers. Feeling more encouraged in the running game. Kennard had a wonderful PFF rating, the right tackle stand-in. So huge return on investment, which is nice because it looks like not so sure about the other two. Well, the two free agents we had, Nate Hobbs and
Aaron Banks.
Aaron Banks. They look a little stock down. Defense, we'll see. Discouraging. Worried about Wyatt. And LaFleur continues to struggle in big game, late game situations. So some up, some down, some things we're not exactly sure about. There are trends we need to be careful for, but overall, I would agree with you, and I think that we're going to be just fine.
I think so, right? And this happening now is much better than it happening in another 12 weeks, right? Or 10 weeks or 8 weeks, where I'd have even more questions.
What I will say is if Wyatt is out for any period of time, you need to go sign somebody or trade for someone.
Yeah, I agree.
I know that we just traded for Micah Parsons, but like hit up Christian Wilkins and see if we can get him to not kiss people or whatever else he did in that locker room. But we cannot go through the season with the boys that we have left. We love Colby Jacked. Carl is a folk hero. We think that those 2 young guys that we have will probably be fine, decent, whatever. But it's not going to work if that's what we put on tape. It's just not going to work.
I agree. I'll be very curious to kind of see how things, injuries, player personnel kind of progress through the bye week. And I think something we can talk about probably next week, because we got to talk about something, right? We can do maybe a little bit of a deeper dive into the division, I think. We can save the division stuff, kind of what's everybody doing until next week.
For sure. Watching the Bengals game, I was very curious. I was paying attention. Yeah. And unfortunately, TJ Slayton does actually play for them. So getting him back for 6 or 7 is probably not going to happen.
No. I mean,
I was thinking is he like rotational?
No, they signed him to start.
No,
they gave him like relatively real money.
Tyler Lancaster, what are you doing these days?
Good question.
Come on home. Aaron Campman, have you put on a few pounds? You want to come on home? But even with that, let's just say if Deontay Wyatt doesn't play next week, like when we know he won't play for an entire week,
it would help.
We'll get cute and try to figure things out. Maybe we put Nessie inside it a little bit, like probably not Enigbari, but when you have more time,
you can create a plan.
I'm sure that we'll mix and match and hodgepodge. Yeah. Put in Nick Niemann.
Maybe
Nick Niemann at defensive tackle.
Maybe. Why not?
James, do what you can do.
Eat some cheeseburgers this weekend. Get ready.
You know what? If you don't put him in a corner, put Bo in a nose tackle. Bo will fight his ass off. All right. Bo might get thrown out into the stands, but he'll come back swinging. Absolutely. He won't walk back from the stands. Let's be clear about that.
He'll show some hustle. You're absolutely right.
All righty then. Anything else, bud?
I think that's...
Or should we be saying adios?
I think we should say adios. That's all I got, my man.
All righty, my friends. Until next time.
Go Pack Go.
Go Pack Go.